Skyview High School, site of the weLearn Technology Showcase 2012. Hundreds of people will come through the doors tonight to see the latest in educational technology. Hello and welcome to our show. I'm Chad Young.
And I'm Nick Voll. Tonight's event brings together students, teachers, and parents to see how technology is being used in Vancouver Public Schools every day.
We have a great show ahead for you, and you'll see modern classrooms much different than when we were kids.
Let's meet the team who will bring the weLearn Showcase to you. In addition to Chad and myself, we have student reporter Jacob Asheris.
We'll also have Mark Ray, and that's where we'll start. Mark, exactly what is weLearn?
weLearn is more than a yearly event. It's the philosophy of the Vancouver Public Schools about how educational technology can be used to improve student learning. Many people look at these devices as novelties or toys, but in the hands of students and teachers, they're powerful tools for improving classroom learning. We all know that students are going to be using technology throughout their lives, both in personal and professional ways. So it makes perfect sense that if Vancouver Public Schools is about preparing students to be ready for life, college, and career, that they have those tools in their hands today. This is the third year of the Vancouver Public Schools weLearn Showcase, and every year it's gotten a little bigger and a little better. And to get us started with today's show, we're going to go down to the floor with our student reporter, Jacob.
Thanks, Mark. That was really cool, but we have something really awesome too. This is Jeff Lee for SkyHawk News, and he's going to tell us a little bit about it. So what is SkyHawk News?
SkyHawk News is a program I started about 9 years ago at Sacagawea Elementary School, and it's a video journal that kids produce, fifth graders, and we go around and interview students and do a lot of news stories around the school and the community.
So do you feel like this improves the teaching environment?
I believe so, because kids are excited to be on the program, so when we tell them every day, we're coming into your room, we're going to ask you what you're learning and why you're learning it, so the kids need to know that and they feel excited to tell us the answer.
Well, I'm glad that Jeff is excited. I'm certainly excited to see such great work being done so young. This was really fantastic, but now it's off to see what Nick is doing. Nick?
Thanks, Jacob. You can see SkyHawk News for yourself on Comcast Channel 28. It's also available on YouTube. Just head to youtube.com/VanSDTV and look for the SkyHawk News playlist. One of the biggest stories for Vancouver Public Schools this year is the opening of a new school, iTech Preparatory. iTech Prep is a STEM school. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. The school will eventually have grades 6 through 12, but for now it's just 6th, 7th, and 9th. The students are split into two campuses. The middle schoolers are at the Jim Parsley Center, and the high schoolers are on the campus at Washington State University, Vancouver. Chad Young joins us now with more from iTech Prep. Chad?
Thanks, Nick. I'm here with students from Vancouver's newest school, iTech Prep. We're going to talk to you about Canvas. Tell me first, what is Canvas, and then how do you use it?
Canvas is an online program that we've been using the entire year. At the beginning of the year, all the students were given laptops, individual laptops that we can use at school and at home. And Canvas is a website that we go to every day at school, and it has a list of all of the courses and a list of all the assignments, and we can click on the assignment, see the due date, the requirements, and it's really helpful in case we missed a little bit of something in class or in case we wanted to know more.
All right, we're here with project-based learning guru, Sasha. Sasha, tell me about project-based learning and what it does for students at iTech Prep.
Well, project-based learning is basically learning through projects. I guess you could get that from the name. And it really helps students because instead of just learning and writing all the information, you really have an understanding because you have to take the information that you learn and put it into your own creative thinking and actually turn it into a real-life project.
Wow. Excellent stuff. You heard it from iTech Prep, project-based learning guru, Sasha. Yeah. Mark, back up to you.
Great, thanks, Chad. I'm here now with Matt Greco, who's going to talk to us a little bit about Bring Your Own Device. And Matt, you've been doing Bring Your Own Device for a couple years now. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started with it?
I guess I got started because I was one of those people that said yes all the time. And along with BYOD, it's been great just having the kids bring their devices in the classroom.
So how do you organize your classroom differently, knowing that you have BYOD devices available in your classroom?
I don't think I organize it differently. I just allow them. A lot of times I have the students say, hey, we can go here and find the same answer. And so a lot of times it's student-driven, as they're helping me find out where the best place to go is. And I'm trying to be one step ahead of them, but oftentimes they know a little bit more about technology than I do. As much as I hate to admit that, but they teach me a lot each day.
Okay, thank you, Matt, for joining us. Matt Greco is the teacher at Alki Middle School, and he is a BYOD teacher. And now we're going to toss it down to Jacob. Jacob?
Thanks, Mark. I'm really happy to be here with Chelsea Hayes. She's part of the Spanish dual language iPad program at Geyser Middle School, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she's doing. So, what is the technology here that you're presenting? We know it's iPads, but what's it for?
So with the 7th grade and 6th grade dual language, we have a 3-period block, and we have language arts, Spanish, and social studies, which is taught in Spanish. So for those 3 periods, for the whole block, we actually use the iPads every day, every period. And with the iPads, they can use pages for graphic organizers, fill in the information. They have apps where they can translate from Spanish to English, conjugate verbs. We also use something called Notarize, where we can have electronic text and they can highlight for the information. So it's really an amazing tool. It's really changed my teaching. I know it's changed their learning. They're very engaged every day, every minute. So it's great.
So you think this is a big improvement for the classroom? It helps learning a lot?
Absolutely. There are students in every classroom that have a hard time getting started or writing something on their paper, and with the iPads they just type right away, they get right into it. The communication, the collaboration as a group is really increased in the classroom, and it's more sources for us. With Spanish, it's hard finding the right materials or the right supplementary books for them to read, and they have it all at their fingertips with their iPads.
You feel like this has improved the way you learn Spanish?
I think it definitely has, because we have all sorts of apps that can help us out if we're struggling to be able to know how to say a word. We can just be able to use that and translate it, and then I think we get to learn more from it.
Well, that was definitely incredibly cool. I was doing nothing like that when I was learning Spanish. These kids are going to do great things. It's off to you, Chad. What are you going to show us next?
Thank you, Jacob. I'm here with 2 teachers, Melissa and Jen from Houck Elementary. Ladies, tell me how you're using iPad in your communication classroom.
We're using it for our kids who are nonverbal, so we're using this app.
The app's called Proloquo Go, and we use it for all types of communication, from our completely nonverbal students to our kids that can talk but need a little bit more structure to their language. So we teach them to communicate basic wants and basic needs to full-on sentences, moving from sentences of 1 to 2 words to sentences up to 6 words. So we're trying to increase their ability to communicate.
So a student comes in, they're totally nonverbal. What goes on with the student when finally they're able to make their needs and wants known?
Right. We see a huge decrease in aggressive behaviors, for one. And our kids, I think, are so much happier.
Yeah.
Our classroom is calm, and our kids are happy, and I think they're excited to be at school.
Now, prior to the iPad technology and you said Proloquo to Go? Proloquo to Go, okay.
Yeah.
Prior to that software and this technology, how did teachers go about doing this?
We used what was called picture exchange communication systems. So they had little Velcro cards in a little binder that they carried around, and they would take off the Velcro piece and hand it to you. And then we ended up teaching them how to use a little strip. Or we had Go Talks, and very, very low tech, very time consuming, and very ineffective ways of communicating. So it was really a challenge.
It's just such a powerful tool in helping students, and I'm grateful for this technology and the things that it's doing for those students that are nonverbal in Vancouver Public Schools. Thank you so much. Let's go back up to Nick.
All right, well, thanks, Chad. I'm here now with Dr. Steve Webb, the Superintendent of Vancouver Public Schools. Steve, thank you for joining us.
Nick, it's good to see you again.
Yeah. How's the event going for you so far?
Well, there's a lot of energy in this room, the first thing that you notice is how engaged students are, how much fun they're having, and really when you ask kids what's transformative about having these digital learning tools in their hands, it's really about personalization, and that's really about empowering kids to be responsible for their own learning, and that is really the sweet spot.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. When you go to the booths, the kids are the ones really showing off the technology at most of the booths. The adults are just sort of sitting back and watching them go, and I think that's pretty amazing.
I think if you were in classrooms, that's what you would see too, right? I mean, really, this is about unleashing the power of technology to personalize learning for students, right? To engage them, to motivate them, and to personalize that experience in such a way that propels them towards post-secondary success.
Why is the district so interested in implementing technology into the classroom?
Well, you know, weLearn is about showcasing the way in which we're leveraging technology to personalize learning for students. Fundamentally, it's about preparing our students with the knowledge, skills, and habits to be college and career ready. It's about 21st century skills. It's about ensuring that our kids can demonstrate critical thinking and problem solving. It's about equipping them with the ability to think creatively and to innovate, to communicate and collaborate. Those are the kinds of 21st century skills that will allow them to be successful in the future.
Well, great. I really want to thank you for joining us. I'll let you get back to looking at the rest of the exhibits.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Parents, it's easier than ever to keep tabs on your student. The school district has online resources that allow you to check grades, pay lunch bills, and so much more. You can even access study materials for your child. The Parent Connection web resources are part of the district's website. Just go to the district webpage, vansd.org, and scroll over Parents and Families. Click on Parent Resources and you'll find a login link. To get your login information, just ask your child's school. Let's go out now to Jacob, who has a fun exhibit. Jacob?
Thanks, Nick. That was really cool. But this is what we've got. Mechatronics. Is that not the coolest sounding thing ever? And Phil Hayes is here to talk to us about it. Would you mind telling us what Mechatronics is?
Yeah, Mechatronics is the emerging field that combines mechanical systems with electronic systems, with digital systems, with automation, systems control. It's a new field here. In the U.S., Clark College, for example, has just recently started an associate's program in mechatronics because everything we use today is automated, built on a combination of computers, digital electronics, sensors, and things like that, and mechanical systems to make things go. So mechatronics, mechanical, electronics.
Did you build this behind us?
Yeah, we build our own robots from kits, and we assemble them ourselves with tools and directions.
I gotta tell you, this is really impressive and kind of intimidating. How long did it take you to put this together?
Well, it took us about 2 weeks. Some of the kits were late, so some people took longer. But with the directions, it doesn't take entirely too long to build a tiny robot.
So do you recommend this class for incoming freshmen or anyone who really wants to get into this field?
Yeah, there's also an intro to engineering class, which is a lot like it, where you kind of dissect other technological bits and bytes and stuff. But this class is really fun.
Well, it sounds like it. This is amazingly awesome. It looks like robots have invaded our schools, but I think it's going to end up being a good thing. Well, it's off to you, Chad. What do you have for us?
Thanks, Jacob. Speaking of robotics, I'm here with the girls' robotics team from McLaughlin Middle School. Tell me about this device you're using.
Well, basically, this is just a robot. It was not built by us, but we programmed it. So basically what it does is these controls let it go forwards and backwards, and the ones over here control the arm. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this blue ball into this bucket, and I'm trying to get this red ball into this bucket, but I'm not very good at controlling our robot. Livia is actually a lot better at it, but the whole goal is just to get them into their goals.
So I know Ms. Hagan, your instructor up there at McLaughlin, has talked to you about the real-world applications of this. What has she said about that?
Well, it depends on what job you want to go into. So for engineering, we're actually working on flight this year. But last year we were working a lot with the robots, and we assembled a few of these robots, and it was really fun because I'm considering a job in marine engineering, so that's how I would use it in the real world.
Right, underwater, thousands of feet under the sea, and potentially then you would be very proficient with the controller.
Yeah, hopefully.
Exciting stuff. Let's send it back up to Mark Ray. Mark?
Great. Thank you, Chad. I'm now here with Greg Bender, who is a teacher at Skyview High School, and he is a teacher that has pioneered a new class for 9th graders called Next Tools. Can you talk a little bit about that class?
Sure. Next Tools is focused around digital citizenship. It's about working in the 21st century workplace. It's about collaborative skills, communication skills, in a workplace where we won't necessarily see our coworkers or the individuals we're working with.
Can you kind of explain what digital citizenship is all about?
Digital citizenship is about living online. And a lot of these kids don't really take into account that their lives online stay online. The stuff they do online is there for good. They can't erase it once they push post or send. So it's about you know, living your life, doing the right thing online as well as in person. The same way we would want them to act in person is the same way we want them to act online.
So there's a lot of talk about young people being digital natives and that they totally get it. What is your impression based on this class so far?
My impression is they don't totally get it. They don't completely get the fact that what they do online stays online. Whenever they get around to applying for a job, their employer is most likely going to Google their name. When they apply to college, the college admissions is most likely going to search their name and look to see what kind of person they are online, what kind of digital citizenship they have led thus far.
Thank you, Greg. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. Greg Bender is a teacher here at Skyview High School, and he's piloting a new course called Next Tools for 9th graders. Now let's go down to Nick.
Thanks, Mark. I'm here with Katie Cunningham, who is showing us how students are using technology to learn history. Could you kind of talk about your booth?
Well, what I'm showing is how we're using a district-built database that was designed by our teacher librarian, Mark Ray, and other social studies teachers. And the World Themes class is designed around 6 thematic units. And so you go into this database and you can go in there and get access to all sorts of resources.
And that's a really fascinating way to teach history, not by the chronological, this happened, then this happened, then this happened. It's about themes. Could you give us an example of a theme?
Well, the theme that my students just finished working on was about cultural expansion. And so you could be talking about Columbus landing in the Americas. You could also be talking about the British in Africa. You could talk about colonialism. You could talk about the different economic systems that grew out of this cultural expansion. So it's more a theme about cultures coming into contact with each other for the first time, rather than just looking at, chronologically, there was this battle and these people won, and then, so it's a lot more interesting for the students. And having this database is helpful because I can assign students sort of a slice of the pie that they're interested in, and then they can use the database to access the resources themselves instead of me telling them what all they're going to read. And I found that engagement has really gone up because of that element of choice.
Sure. Well, great. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. And Katie Cunningham from Lewis & Clark. Let's go now to Chad. Chad?
Thanks, Nick. I'm here with students from Skyview High School's video game programming team. Video games in class, every student's dream. Are you kidding me? What are you doing there?
We work to program games, and we code them, and we learn how they work and create art assets and stuff.
And is this something that you could see yourself doing as a career later on?
Yeah, this is actually what I want to do. I want to be a video game designer when I grow up, so that's why I took this class.
Is this one of your favorite classes that you've ever taken?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you like about it?
Well, it's just fun, mostly playing games, of course, but after you just testing them, I guess.
So in order to play it, you have to program it, and you're doing that all in class, the career and technical education class, and you're going to take it to the next level. So glad to hear that. Thank you for your time. We're going to send it back up to Jacob.
Thanks, Chad. I'm here with Miss Kaiser from Columbia River High School, and she's going to be demonstrating the evolution of the photographic image. Miss Kaiser. So, what exactly are you doing here? What do you do?
I'm a photography teacher at Columbia River High School, and this is my display on the evolution of the image. So kind of what we learn in class from beginning to advance. So our first project, which to me is the beginning of the evolution of the image, is the PopCan camera. It's the pinhole project. And so a lot of students think, and their parents think, it's very amazing that this old PopCan can be a camera, but it is. So it's really kind of cool. This is the lid that keeps it light tight. We keep the paper on the inside. That's how we capture the image, is photographic paper. This is your shutter right here, a piece of electrical tape. And the lens is this tiny little hole that was poked with a pin, hence a pinhole camera, that projects the light through and allow the image to be formed on the inside of the camera wall where the photographic paper is. So digital photography is what we do second semester in beginning, and then advanced, some assignments are required to be digital, some they get to choose between digital and film. So digital, these are some of the digital images that the students have shot. We work with a Canon T1i DSLR, which is this right here. So it's a nice entry-level digital camera. We also work with studio lighting, so they learn studio strobes and how to use the studio lighting as if they were going to be a commercial photographer. And being that this is a CTE class, as well as it could be taken as a fine art credit, they learn all the aspects of photography. So to me, film will forever exist, I think, even as a fine art form, but industry standard is digital, and so they're learning both the CTE and kind of the fine art aspect of photography.
Well, that was really fantastic. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, Ms. Kaiser is always great to see, and now we're going to head over to Nick. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Jacob. Well, one of the cool things about this event tonight is that it's not just for community members, it's also for teachers who are getting some training. The district is holding several teacher workshops tonight so that they can learn about tools and techniques they might not otherwise get to experience. So tonight, teachers are turned into students. They're finding out about new software and other teaching tools and earning training hours while they're at it. This event happens just once per year. weLearn goes on all year long, and joining us now to talk about that is Mark Ray. Mark?
Tonight is a demonstration not only of what is happening in our classrooms today, but a glimpse of what's going to come tomorrow. If you want to learn more about educational technology in the Vancouver Public Schools, I encourage you to tune into In the Know, which is the official news magazine for Vancouver Public Schools. Every episode of In the Know features a weLearn story that can range anything from digital citizenship to iPads to powerful digital music tools. In the Know is available on Comcast Channel 28, and it's also available on YouTube, youtube.com/VanSDTV. There are over 30 archive stories on YouTube that feature educational technology in Vancouver Public Schools. When you go to YouTube, just click on the weLearn link. Now let's go back on the floor where Chad has another exhibit to share with us. Chad?
Thanks, Mark. We're here with students from HawK Elementary who are using their iPods for differentiated learning. Guys, tell me how you use that in the classroom.
Well, we use them to learn stuff. We have different games on here. Like we have geography and math and literacy and different apps to learn.
For the folks at home, differentiation, you're making it different according to the level that they're at right now and trying to get them to their next level. How does that really help a student who's maybe lower than another or higher than another reach their full potential?
The technology in the apps gives the student the ability to work at their own pace, to choose a level of math or reading or geography or whatever skill it is that meets them where they're at.
We're going to kick it back out to Nick Voll up at the main stage. Nick?
Thanks, Chad. Joining me now is Nate Macon. He's a physics teacher here at Skyview High School. He's also the host of Science, a show produced by Vancouver Public Schools. Nate, thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
So tonight you're showing off Project Lead the Way. What is that?
So Project Lead the Way is an accredited 4-year engineering program here at Skyview High School. And what it is we start with the bare bones of engineering, problem solving, redesigning things that already exist, and we call that class Introduction to Engineering Design. Second year is Principles of Engineering, which is kind of a broad class, covers a lot of topics in engineering, and it goes from mechanical engineering to software programming, the whole breadth. Third year, Digital Electronics, that's where we talk about circuit boarding, and we get really, really deep into how, electronics and circuits work. And then the fourth year is the capstone course, and that's when they put it all together and they bring this whole mess of information into building one project to build or solve one problem.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons we brought you up here too is because you are the host of the Emmy-nominated show Science. Could you kind of talk about what the show is?
Show's all about describing different scientific concepts. It's all about learning. It's all about getting your hands on different things and really seeing how the world works.
Okay. And we obviously with some humor and making it fun.
We try to make it fun. We have our jokes here and there. It's a good time.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'll let you get back to your booth, and I appreciate you taking time to come out and talk to us.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, you can see Science as part of the VPS Power Half Hour. It airs on Comcast Channel 28 and is also available on the district YouTube channel. Let's go out now to Chad Young, who's got something fun to show us. Chad?
Thank you, Nick. I'm here with Cole from the Vancouver School of Arts and Academics. Cole actually built this apparatus. Tell me about it.
Last year, I created this apparatus for my junior project, actually, for our school. And basically, it is a time-lapse dolly that will go from one end to the other end in a set amount of time. And it will take a time-lapse of whatever you're pointing and shooting at. and it adds just another dimension to the time lapse. It's more dynamic. It looks cool. It just is a better apparatus.
Yeah, and you can see that Cole's work at the beginning of our show today. You can see Cole's work and how he went about using that and the effect that it has. It's just an impressive device. I'm almost afraid to touch it. How did you go about designing such a thing like this?
It was a very delicate piece to design because everything is so tight fit. You have to get everything perfect when you're engineering such a precise equipment. But I went online and there were a few designs out there, but nothing like this. So I took design elements from each and every project, and then my dad and I helped put together this final piece, and it worked out pretty well. It works good.
Cole, thank you so much. We're going to head back up to Nick.
Thanks, Chad. The school district's graphic design students use technology every day, and at the weLearn event, they're getting to put that into action. They are competing in a poster contest. You're looking at their entries on display here at the event. This represents a wide variety of grade levels. From these posters, one winner will be chosen. You'll get a neat little prize. So good luck to all the entrants and great work on all your posters. The parents and community members who showed up tonight have now had a chance to kind of see everything there is to see. So we're going to go now to Jacob, our student reporter, who's got some reaction from the crowd. Jacob?
So what did you think of the event tonight?
I think it's really cool. Like all these schools, you get to like interview them all without actually having to like walk everywhere, like to like the actual schools.
I thought it was fascinating. I thought that the kids were very engaged. I thought what they were doing was quite interesting. I was impressed with their degree of familiarity with the apps, the various apps they were using.
So why did you come out to the event tonight?
I came out because I've been coming the last couple of years to this event. I'm a technology director for another school district, and it is, I think, always interesting and informative to see the kind of projects that Vancouver's taken on. They've been a leader in a lot of the reforms that have been going on in educational technology stuff lately, and so I've really enjoyed seeing actual, not just vendor stuff, but in-use kind of projects within the classrooms, and to me that's a really, really important part of what we're involved in my school district.
Well, thanks, Jacob. What an exciting night. Chad, what are your thoughts about tonight?
What's striking to me is the proficiency with which the students are operating all this technology. They are locked in. They know how to use it. They were teaching me how to use these things. It blows me away.
And yeah, like you said, the enthusiasm of the students and also the faculty members for their use of technology is just amazing. You can see how they're really driving it into the classroom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we go, we want to take a moment to thank our reporters, Mark Ray and Jake Basheris.
We also had two student crew members, Chance Cunningham and Jake Sundel. These guys are walking examples of how students are putting technology into action at school.
That's right. Well, that wraps things up here at Skyview High School. I'm Chad Young.
And I'm Nick Voll. Thanks for joining us for weLearn Technology Showcase 2012.